Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Guile here, and welcome back to another Supreme Commander Epic. It is custom 6v6 business this afternoon for your viewing pleasure going down on this generated map. It has been some time since we had some epicosity on the channel, by my reckoning almost 2 months, and you've all been frightfully well behaved, so I thought it was about time you got what you deserved. We'll call this Team 1 over here on the left hand side, this Team 2 over here on the right. Going first for Team 1 at the top of the screen in this season's fabulous Vivacious Violet, it is Okpuk going Cyber and Bless him, opening first land. Team member number 2 over here to the left, just a stone's throw away, and apologies in advance for whatever Germanic culture this name belongs to and the butchery that will now ensue, but it looks like it's Herr Moshovroy. Might just call him Hair, see how things go as the game pans out. Anyway, he's going first land, going UEF in mellow yellow. Team member number 3 further to the south now in lurid green. We have M13, our first Seraphim of the day, going first air. Interesting decision. Team member number 4, south side of this rock formation in the middle here in Cyanide Cyan. We have Clinch, our first Aeon of the day, going first land. Team member number 5 in the bottom left-hand corner in Combat Green. We have Pepe. Other meme coins are available. He is going Aeon, opening first land, and last but not least, to his right, or southeast if you will, it's Yoji, another Aeon, opening first land. So Team 1 comprised of 3 Aeons, a Cybrin, a Seraphim, and a UEF, all races representing. Lovely to see. So, let's check out Team 2 now, starting at the top of the screen in Ferrari Red to begin with. We have Chicken Ryaba. I'll probably just call him Chicken today. Might get confusing as a Seraphim when he actually starts building some chickens. But anyway, he is going first land in Ferrari Red. Team member number 2 just over here in Fecal Brown, and aptly going Cybrin, going first land, second air, it's Narnerd Power. There he is, getting busy with his base stuff. Team member number 3, the last of the northern portion of Team 2, it's Squealer. He is going Baby Pink, going Seraphim, and opened with first land. On to the south side now in Hallyborange Orange, leaving the base area. It's the winner of this week's amusing name award. It's Touch My Berries, going Aeon, stomping his way towards the centre, having gone first land. Team member number 5 in the bottom right hand corner in Pontiff White, we have Sonoman. He is going Cybrin today, opening first land, and last but not least in Dijon Yellow, it's MSG, Uncle Roger's favourite, another Cybrin there, stomping his way also towards the centre-ish, well, kind of down here. He opened first land and is busy with second air. So there we have it. Game quality at 92%. Bare minimum, really, of what we consider to be a balanced game. Happy enough with that, are we? Players to watch out for today, the top-rated players to begin with, Yoji on Team 1, a very, very respectable 1900. He is down here. And on the other side of the field, up at the top, Ukpuk for Team 1. He's 1800. Those are the 2 top-level pros. Top pros for Team 2, as the first shots are fired. Probably a scout somewhere or a lab. We do actually have some labs coming through here from Yoji, but it's not going to be that impactful in terms of the game, so I'm going to carry on with my introduction, if that's all right with you. MSG 1800, that's this chappy down here, so matched up against Yoji, so I'm assuming the next highest rated will be Chicken up here, matching up against Okpuk. Yes, it is. Chicken is a 1700, so these are the 4 top-level pros in the game, and the Joes today, the people who are potentially most vulnerable, at least on paper. We've got M13. Did I get that right? M13. Hang on. Oh, yes. No, that is right. M13 and MSG. Getting my tiny English brain all in a kerfuddle. Where is M13 now? So M13 is on Team 1. There he is. Seraphim moving out from his side of things over in the midpoint. So does that mean our lowest rated player is Squealer on Team 2? 1200. Yes, it does. So these are the vulnerable people in the centre, potentially. But yeah, we will see how it all unfolds. As we know, global rankings, like all rankings, can be misleading and do not necessarily equate to performance in any said game. We'll have to see how things develop. Oh my word. Oh, I thought he was going for that Zooey. I actually thought poor old Tristan here, the engineer, had been dropped in towards this mass field to start accumulating, and he'd eat a bomb for his troubles the moment he touched down. But no, it was actually going after somebody else. That is the mass poop situation. We've got some pretty sizable mass fields in here that the map gen has generated for us today. So plenty to cannibalize. And we've also got a lot of mass points on the field. In terms of topography, well, I mean, it leads really very little explanation at all. There's one central gap where the two teams are going to fight over right in the center. It does look, at least on the face of it, as this chariot flies overhead, that might have had something on board. Actually, no, it was just returning home, so that was probably trying to drop off something on this side of things that either got killed or the engineering unit or lab or whatever it was got blapped out of the sky by defending interceptors. So those interceptors now tangle with one another over here, but it does look like this might be a passable piece of terrain between the two sides of the map. So of course, we've got this area here where 99% of ground combat will probably take place, but there looks like an opportunity to just cut the headland off there. But again, very much a bottleneck, probably easy to defend on either side of that. Otherwise, not a lot of places to engage anywhere. Expect ground game to be limited in terms of its base killing potential. I imagine air to feature heavily, and of course, being as this is an epic, look out for late game base-to-base artillery. I'm sure it will play a role. Now, MSG, touch my berries. That will never not be funny. I will try not to laugh every time I refer to him, I promise. Pepe and Clinch getting into it a little bit down here with their ACUs. Clinch seems to have come off the worst so far. He's down to about 8,200 HP. What have we got further up here? We've got her on... I can't call him Hair. I can't call him Mr. Isn't that essentially what it is? Herr Hitler? Mr. Hitler? Did they call him that? Why did I go straight to Hitler? Apologies to all German people out there. There must be other German celebrities. Anyway, moving on. Herr Moors. I'm going to call him Moors. He's on an upgrade. Gun upgrade. And he's only at 1%, but he's paused it. We've got an engineer inbound to do some acceleratory work on that. Oh, more upgrades on the way as well. Down here, touch my berries. I'm just going to have to call him Berries for short, otherwise I'm never going to get through this. He is proceeding well on a gun upgrade there, 25% and climbing rapidly. We've also got a T2 upgrade that's progressing well for Squealer, who's getting some assistance from teammate Chicken. Just to his south, almost 50% done there, climbing rapidly also. Oh, and a T2 upgrade just started over here with Clinch, who's got a decent amount of assistance from his own engineers. Some 7, now 8, soon to be 9 engineers assisting with that. And of course, that will help replenish a chunk of the HP he lost in that initial opening exchange. Look at that, and allow him to lock down potentially large areas of space down here. On a map like this, you really want a few people going and grabbing that T2 upgrade. You don't just want to go all gun, because your chances of breaking through here with a mass ACU push, I mean, that really is the cheesiest of all cheese plays. Much better to settle in for the long haul and lock down territory with some point defense and some forward bases. Is this... a little bit of... no, it's not. It's defensive movement through. I was like, what do we got here? Is this a Team 2 ACU pushing up to the top left? No, it's Okpuk returning home and trying to cover a little stream. And indeed, I called it right. How happy I am for myself. A little stream of T1 tanks, some THAMs rolling across from Chicken. Again, you can see that single file formation they're kind of reduced to on their way through. So this shouldn't be too hard to defend against. But at the moment... it is all very open, allowing for a little bit of a run by, bypassing all of the mess down here in the center, especially while these comms rooted to the spot on upgrades. Another gun on both of them. Moors 82% there. Is that the same one? He has taken a long time to get that done. I know he wasn't actually upgrading for a lot of it. It was paused. He was just stuck there. But yeah, all of these comms busy getting their upgrade business on. In terms of eco, Team 2 faring a lot better in the opening stages of this one. 430 versus 380. And of course, the moment I say that, Team 1 jump over 400. Will they hold there, or is that reclaim related? It looks like they're holding relatively close. So they're catching up a little, but they are 4k behind overall in terms of total mass accrued. And down, Team 1 are down 5k in reclaim so far. So a little bit more work to do there. Now, berries, did he complete? Yes, he did. And being Aeon, he went for the quintessential double gun option. So that's a lot of firepower locked up in that ACU. M13 rolling forward with his upgraded gun. Hermors also has the Zephamp. He's finished his upgrade. And Pepe moving out with double gun also. Do we have the T2 engineering suite complete? Yes, we do for Clinch. And you can see he's happily repped up any damage on his ACU as a result, or as an assisting factor. Yoji grabbing himself a little bit of a repair job, finishing up the work on his ACU, having gone double gun there also. MSG not far away with his comm, just loitering. Give you an idea of what it looks like from a team perspective. That is Team 1's field of view. ACU's in the north, defending against a potential spam push here, but that is more than enough firepower to keep all of this T1 spam at bay. Squealer, I'm guessing, obviously went T2 engineering, if I hadn't mentioned that already. Indeed, he has, throwing down T2 point defense in what is going to become a nasty little firebase if he's allowed to hold on to that area. Pepe drawing fire at the moment. He's down to 6,400 hit points and is now drawing double point defense fire. That will evaporate your HP very quickly indeed. He needs to get a wriggle on and get out of range. That's what he's trying to do. One more hit will take him into the red, but he just gets out of range in time to avoid that outcome. Interesting. MSG moving back slightly and is queuing up a shield gen just over here next to a forward T2 factory. Yoji advancing here, potentially ill-advisedly, with not a lot of hit points to his name, down to 4,000. Shield recharging pretty fast, but sees MSG as low on hit points. Also advances with his blazes. Thinks maybe I might be able to make a bit of headway here. But there is now an operational shield gen. They've got a bit of cover. Yoji's only real play is to withdraw, and he agrees. So he is going to back on up out of there. Shield gen fully replenished. I'm wondering if he was suffering from some power problems. He is right on the breadline, leeching off his teammates, no doubt. In true Aeon fashion, the parasites. M13 and Hermors ganging up now against Chicken, who's just moving south to pick up some of this reclaim, who is now leading the field in eco. Well, we've got 145 for Clinch, 154 for Okpuck. Those are the two chip leaders on Team 1. And Team 2, we've got 164 for Berries and 137 for Squealer. Players with the biggest income, the biggest access to new weaponry, we would imagine, in the near future. M13 advancing with T1 and T2 spam, assisting his comm. Not a lot of T2, but he has got the odd Ilshiver in here. Looks to be about 3 or 4. What is Hermors doing with his eco? Well, it looks like he is in charge of air power, which makes sense, being stuck in the top left-hand corner. But a lovely little drop underway here from Okpuck. Offloads what looks to be like 6 or so Mantis, but immediately finds himself under pressure from a T2 point defense. Now, I don't know if that was just hurriedly erected or if that was already there. We have got a couple of T2 engineers, so chances are Chicken spotted that inbound and got all that build capacity to throw that together, and it did its job perfectly. No base structure casualties at all, and all that actually survived was one Mantis and a banger. Not going to get a lot done with that, so nicely defended against that little incursion. This is a tricky map to make headway on. The sort of map that definitely lends itself to extended games. Map generator just fancied an epic. What have we got here? Another Skyhook touring the field, belonging to Narnerd Power this time. Where is he heading with that? Well, ferrying stuff back to this position, wanting to take out these. It's a little bit of overkill. Presuming that was the target, that one Mantis and the banger. And now with that ferry command, units are well out of range. Don't land your transport there. Never good for your health. What's happening up here? Dragonfly looks like it's carrying more units for Okpuk. Indeed it is, and this time it's none of your horrible T1 spam nonsense. No, that's a brick and a deceiver for a bit of stealth coverage on board that puppy. Looking for a vector to attack. Doesn't look like he's decided on one as yet. Moment just toing and froing. That is the field of view from Team 2's perspective. And they are lacking on intel up in this corner. I'm wondering if there was a radar structure, if that was the one casualty. Who am I on? Squealer. They are having major power issues. Oh, wow. He's gone right around the top and has got in behind Chicken's main base. Looks like he might be coming up on Narnerd's base now. He's going to offload the brick. Lovely little drop there. And he's just going to push up to the top right. And that puts a couple of T2 mexes in peril. We're going to see some gunships scrambled. I'm not seeing any on the field at the moment. So they're going to have to rush to build some if they want to use that as the quick option. What have we got here? Air staging facilities. How very practical. T1 bombers. In over the top on a little bit of a suicide run, going after a zapper specifically. Does that mean we have... Yes, it does. TMLs. Lobbing their ordnance in over towards this resourcing option, or these resourcing options. Zapper there. So, MSG hip to the threat. Lots of tactical missile defense in play. T1 bombers getting some work done in taking those out. We've also squeaked a couple of harbingers in through the gap, and they're currently assaulting this position over here. Engineers trying to throw together some basic T1 point defense. I think as the last few defensive structures are taken out, they might be able to bag a few mexes here, although only one harbinger remaining. Definitely take a moment to kill that T1 radar. The brick in the top right hand corner after that incursion still alive, but not for any longer. Finished off by a whole bunch of jesters, so they did go gunship in the end. It just took them a while to amass them, but look at that. T2 mexes were taken out along with all of those northeastern aerial defenses. Ooh, cloaking upgrade on the way for MSG. It's already got nano repair. Berries with the triple gun upgrade now. Personal shield. All looking very Rambo-like. Armiger still alive, though running into a Bernie. This is going to be an interesting encounter. Oh no, it's not. Multiple Bernies showing up. Where there's one, there's usually 100 more. Laser upgrade on the way for Narnerd power, but look how wide open it is. Squealer doesn't like the look of things. He is bugging out. And Narnerd power rooted to the spot for another 40% of a laser upgrade still to go. Less than ideal. Especially with inbound T2 artillery. We've got a tactical missile launcher there. Team 1 even know there's a comm. They've been pinging comms in the area. They haven't got a signature on that commander at the moment. Some real intel failures. That is absolutely gagging for a snipe. Playing a very risky game indeed here. But to be fair, Team 1 are not pushing at this current time. Oof! And look at that. That must have been tactical missile play. 9 kills for that tactical missile launcher. Those T1 bombers we saw picking off the zappers, doing their job perfectly. Their suicide runs, allowing for the snipe on that. What is that? Reduced MSG to, well, he is down almost into double figures. Might have initially gone into double figures, actually. But you can see he is well behind the rest of the field now. So lovely little attack by Yoji. And MSG is Team 2's top-rated player at 1800, remember. So if they can pacify him, that dramatically improves their chances in the wider game. But a GC, the first experimental we've seen in the game so far, making some progress from Team 2's area over to Team 1's. Galactic Colossus with 42 kills to its name, but getting mobbed now by ground and air targets. We've got broadswords, we've got corsairs, we've got harbingers, we've got auroras. Everything in the kitchen sink being brought to bear against this GC, which is still alive, but is about to go down now. Sub 10k HP as he hoovers up a couple more vulnerable ground units. And then the threat did pass. Very interesting indeed. MSG getting an upgrade. What's he going for? Narnerd completed his laser. Where is MSG? Starting teleporter. Hello. Hasn't got laser though. Interesting. But Narnerd power. So now that area is getting peppered with artillery. Narnerd completed his laser and is now in full retreat, bugging out the area. This is actually handing control, I wouldn't say control, but dominance in the center over to Team 1 now, who both have pretty strong bases in the center and the top left. And that will be the end of a presence basically in the very center as far as Team 2 are concerned. MSG, teleporter complete. Is he communicating with his teammates? Well, if he is, he might be doing it over voice comms. Narnerd power getting a lift for his commander to get well and truly out of the way. And here we go. Now the question is, where's he going? Imagine it would be somewhere on the south side. Aha! Straight into Yoji's base. He hasn't got laser. He didn't go for the laser. He's gone... This has to be a suicide run. He's unhappy about getting his mass sniped. That's all I can think. I don't know what the play was there. Did he think he'd upgraded the laser? Is that what happened? Le laser marche pas. Is that... My French is a little rusty. Is that French for the laser didn't upgrade? Answers in the comment section below. C'était map un carton aussi. He hates Australian milk cartons as well. But yeah, that did not go well. So our first exit from the game, and it's the top-rated player on Team 2. Not ideal, I think it's fair to say. Don't know why he did that. It has to have been an error. Maybe he didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but now those forward positions now under the control of Berries. Getting absolutely railed by T1 and T2 spam. Moving in from the center there from M13. It's always satisfying when you're the bottom rated player. You can move up and dish out some damage to the big boys after they've suffered a defeat and they are partially weakened. Sanoman guarding the southern pass with his comm. Has some decent backup on the ground here from all of these loyalists now belonging to Berries, formerly belonging to MSG of course. But that's a lot of firepower moving in from the west. Look at all of those Harbingers. Clinch with a Harbinger army that could put out almost 14,000 DPS, sorry, a mass cost of 35,000. Not too shabby. Sanoman needs to be very careful here. Does have the stealth on board that Cyber and Com, the upgrade. See that purple hue coming off the com. Cybran radar poison. Early inspiration for Singed from League of Legends, I hear. Ethota stomping around in the center, belonging to Squealer. Could he be in a position to take this base out now? What have we got down here? We've got a lot of T1 point defense. We've got a solid battery of miasma, but of course not great at taking out an inbound assault bot. But he's not going on the warpath here. I think this is a mistake. He's got a perfect opportunity to wipe this base. At the moment, he's just pirouetting under artillery fire. Definitely a mistake here. And now those Harbingers that were posturing a move further to the southeast. Moving up on that Ethota's position. Going after the siege tanks initially, but then focusing fire on the assault bot. And look at the hit points tumble. Bosh! Threat dealt with. Would have been much more useful to send that puppy in here. He would have taken out all of this and wiped out 4 T2 mexes in the process, I'm sure of it. But perhaps he was just wanting to try and control the area a little bit and not lose that experimental. Maybe that's me being generous, I don't know. There's been a solid little battle down or up over here. Megalith under construction, not under construction anymore, as an Iron Storm from a deceased chicken belonging to Chicken, funnily enough. We said that was going to happen. Just finishes obliterating everything, including the 4 mexes that were in play there, presumably belonging to Okpuk, who is now down to 204 mass per tick. Speaking in terms of team totals now on the eco side, 2k per tick for Team 2 and 1.9k over here for Team 1. Mild advantage. 1.5 million apiece in terms of total mass accrued, so pretty much neck and neck as far as we can discern it. And we've got our first base-to-base artillery in play before half an hour. Not too unimpressive. That's what happens on a big 20 by 20 map. When there's tons of mass to go around, things can escalate quickly. We've heard our first nuke go. That looks like it's come out from Team 1, potentially from Okpuk. We'll check in on that in just a moment. It's going after the forward base of Chicken, and Chicken is very close to ground zero. Oof! EMP actually temporarily disabling the comm, but inflicting no direct damage. He was lucky to get out of there in time, but he just about managed it. Is he still EMP'd, or is he just doesn't want to move anywhere else? Cool guys don't look at explosions or move away from them, apparently. Corsairs and Monkey Lord being sent to dealt with a perilous group of engineers hoovering up mass over here. And looky what we have here. A little attempt at transcontinental expansion. Not really continental. These aren't continents. Or maybe they are. Maybe this topographical line here comes from a fault between two continents colliding with one another. Did you think about that? I don't think you did. But anyway, Yoji built some structures there and they got killed. Essentially what happened. Megalith moving up with a couple of Monkey Lords now. Nice little play from Team 2 trying to secure this area, an area which has been decidedly unsecured for the last 15 minutes or so. We've actually got artillery shells crossing each other in the air as presumably they try to take one another out. One emissary in play in this little base section belonging to Clinch. A second one under construction. All pretty well shielded. What is the state of play on the other side of the field? Well, that's the counter emissary belonging to Berries, who's also working on a second one. So very similar situation, although slightly less shielding, I think it's fair to say, in place over here. Ooh, what was that? No comm kills missed, please. No, that looks like it would have been a support commander going pop at some position or another. Now, have Team 2 learnt from their mistake last time they put an experimental in here? They're going to wipe this base out while they have the opportunity. Maybe they don't have the opportunity. Inbound Restorer attack along with Air Wing for air escort. Going to focus in on the damaged Monkey Lord to the north to begin with. That's the right play. Is that going to provoke an aerial response from Team 2? We certainly have fighters en route from two different locations. Down goes the Monkey Lord though. Corsairs in for Team 1. ASF's Tangle. More gunships inbound, this time broadswords from Hermors. And then more fighters into the fray from all four corners of the map. Air Wing from Okpuk, last to join the fray, pretty much. Another Monkey Lord down to the gunships. That's both of those two experimentals out of play for Team 2. The Megalith, though, still looking pretty healthy as a horde of Harbingers moves up on his position. And it certainly looks like Team 2 has absolutely walked the air battle. So that's the end of the gunship threat. Megalith, as a result, starts backtracking, trying to keep its guns in play for the Harbingers, who are now moving up, potentially trying to get in behind it, although it looks like Clinch has been distracted with other things and hasn't continued to issue attack commands. A trio of Othams brought in from the northeast. That will be the end of the Harbinger threat. A couple more Corsairs show up, but they take some hits from lightning tanks and then get finished off by the air superiority fighters. So what's going on here? Another attack now in the north underway from Chicken. And Ithota with mobile shield gens moving up to assist. We've also got lightning tanks and Othams, although the lightning tanks are hanging back. And Chicken also bringing his comm forward. He's got the aura regen field. He's also got nano repair. So it's a very regen-y, chunky comm. But this is dangerous at this point in time. We have seen Lots of experimentals in play. You could have a whole horde of strat bombers waiting for an opportunity in the backfield, and they see a comm, and even if you've got all of that regen, a large alpha strike isn't going to save you. So this is risky play from Chicken in a game where there's been a lot of mass flying around. Looks like that nuke launcher we saw earlier was belonging to Okpuk. Second nuke away. Where's that headed? Looks like it's headed down towards the southeast. Oh my word! Or maybe you don't have to worry about strat bombers at all, and it's a stealthy Monkey Lord coming out of the fog that you didn't even see moving up on your comm. Well, he sees it now, and there's not much he's going to be able to do with it. The best thing he can do actually is turn into it and try and help overcharge it. Monkey Lord is on sub 20k HP. He has turned. He overcharges, gets it into the red. It's going to be very close. Oh my word! He nearly survived that. But nope, Chicken goes out. That's the second highest rated player for Team 2, who are now down 2, and it's their two pros, their two top pros, who are taken out. Oh dearie me. Things going from bad to worse right now for Team 2. Who is the lucky recipient of all of his stuff? Well, that would be Squealer, unfortunately the lowest rated player on Team 2. I'm wondering whether or not he will offload some of this to Narnerd Power. That would be the sensible decision. We'll see how team-orientated the man is in just a moment. Might not be a man, of course. Who knows? Might be a lady who's not a team player. Strat bombers being brought to bear against that Ithota from Squealer, who is now moving up to wipe out those T3 mexes for a second time. Poor Okpuk feels like he must have just got those rebuilt, only for them to get destroyed once again. But that is good for Team 2. Okpuk is the big threat, or one of the two big threats, I should say. Yoji is a 1900, of course, outranking him ever so slightly, but still the pro in the north. Like Nedard Stark. Hopefully he won't get his head cut off in quite the same fashion. Wow, that is quite the tack. That Bernie. There's something wrong with that GC's tractor beam, I think. That was not pulling in straight lines. He was just angling it around the cliff edge. 0 point energy. Saves all the best toys for himself. Ambassadors don't last too long against that air wing from Narnerd Power. Moors brings in his own air superiority fighters, but then turn tail and run, and he's going to take some more casualties for that. Never ideal. And air power really does seem to be with Team 2 here. We haven't spoken much about artillery. We'll take a good look at that again in just a moment, but there's a big old bombing run underway from Narnerd Power, who's going to have to get some work done now that the other pros on his team have dropped the ball somewhat. Detected. Now look at this, the same area that's being targeted by their base-to-base artillery, and they've managed to take out one of the emissaries along with a massive amount of power grid and shield gens. Kill grid, says Chicken. There's another power grid down here belonging to Pepe, along with a lot of air factories, but it's well shielded. Need to get a couple more bombs off in here. Managed to take down one of those P-gens, but it hasn't chain reacted everything. One more bomb away. No. Sam's getting work done, keeping the skies clear, and Pepe's air factories in play. Wow, so both of the emissaries were taken out in that little air raid, and now you've got to feel that that leaves both air supremacy and artillery supremacy with Team 2. And just look at all of the gubbins pouring through the middle here. Admittedly, a lot of this is engineers cannibalizing the area. Wow. Squealer's not messing around, man. He is going on a major reclaim operation. He's up to 61k already. Behind only Yoji on Team 1 at the moment for the amount that's been reclaimed. That might flip in his favor before too long. But he has got a lot of presence in the center. Another nuke out. Where is that from? That's in the south this time. Came from that nuke launcher there that probably gets taken out by Team 2's emissaries who've been retasked to Pepe's base after the obliteration of clinches. Nice, easy, soft option in the south for that nuke targeting that bottom base. That was light on defenses. We did have SMD up over here. That was loaded too, so good scouting from Team 1. This is a serious problem. I can't believe this. After losing both pros, somehow Team 2 look like they're in a better position. They are well down on eco. No, they're not, excuse me. Not at all. They were a moment ago. It must have been reclaim related. It was showing a 2.6 to a 2.4. But now it's a 2.6 to a 2.2 in favor of Team 2. So they are not down on eco. Team 2 are in a really strong position now. Probably why we're seeing the emergence of some teleporter upgrades. Okpuk has gotten himself the laser. Stand by for some more Cybran cowardice. 60% complete. And then eases off while his eco recovers. How many artillery pieces are we up to now for Team 2? 1, 2, 3 emissaries for Berry. Or Berries, who is focusing pretty heavily on that. We've also got some Seraphim artillery for Squealer. Narnerd, what are you doing? Narnerd did get control of that base. He has got a Seraphim artillery up in the north and is working on another. However, shield gens are failing at the current time. I am hearing experimental bombs going off, but I'm also going to check in on the top because that is where it is. And that is a beautiful hit right in the main base of Hermors. Backed up as well by these strap bombers. Just flying over a nuke launcher there from Okpuk. That would be a prime target if they could bag that also. Looks like that will be the secondary target. Ordnance away. Oh, overshooting slightly. Going instead for all of the build capacity down here. Experimental bomber does get shot down. Shields have capitulated. Oof. Oh, what's that? That looks like artillery kill on Yoji. It's coming out as a control K. Maybe it was a control K. But artillery shells are certainly raining down, so it was one or the other. Either or. Didn't like where it was going. Didn't want to see his base capitulate. Or maybe, just maybe, we're moving into another era where the Notify mod is not functioning correctly once again. But promising counterattack on the ground here. 3 beaten up, admittedly, GCs belonging to Okpuk, just reaching the main base of Narnerd's Power's base. Oh! Who's dead there? Okpuk. He went for the telemaser against Sanoman. Or killed off by Sanoman, excuse me. So they really are throwing everything they can at Team 2 here. 2 Colossus, 3 Colossus still remain, but badly damaged. You're not going to save those. You might as well send them in. Why are you pirouetting? Just send them in on a kill order. Take out these artillery if you can. Shields die out. Quick, kill the power grids. Oh my god. Thank goodness, but 2 artillery pieces left. The experimentals are critically low on health. One of the emissaries is down. This last one's on 2,500, but a Soul Ripper brought to bear also. Why are they standing still? This is going to take years off my life. Oh, but he's managed to bag it thanks to the volatility explosions of the reactors. Wow. So it worked out all right in the end, despite every effort being made to prevent it from working out. Ground forces moving up through the center. 42 minutes gone. It is now a 4v4. And of the 2 players that went out recently on Team 1, it's the 2 pros again. So all the top pros are gone from this game. The Joes are now in charge, sort of. I mean, we've got a 1600, a 1500, a 1600, a 1500, but it's now even between the amount of Joes and pros on the field. Just wow. What an absolute mess that was. So Okpuk telemasered in, didn't work out, got killed by something belonging to Sanaman. And Yoji either control Cade or got artilleried, we're not 100% sure. Megalith moving up through the center, taking pot shots. Very badly damaged though. Very curious to see actually what went down there. You know what? Maybe we'll stick about at the end, chaps and chapettes. We'll do a little recap of those 2 com kills and see how they worked out. Don't want to leave you guys feeling like you missed anything. Air fracas to the north, or the northwest. That shows you just how much freedom Team 2 feel like they have in the air games. It's all very much on Team 1's side of things. Bug being brought to bear. Will he be tasked with killing off these SAMs? Probably not a terrible idea, since it's working out so well for them. 2 bases here that he might want to target. Whole stream of engineers moving up to the top left-hand corner, and that's why, dun dun dun, Paragon now under construction. Huge quantities of build capacity from Pepe being funneled up to that top left-hand corner. Just in case you were unaware, people on Team 2, oh, they haven't got, fortunately they haven't got intel that far in. Their Omni located somewhere in here, doesn't quite stretch over here. They really need to get one up over this area. Hard to hold on to, but in this base or something. But that will have alerted them to the threat, which is now lurking in the top left-hand corner. It's a ways away from being something they really have to worry about. Only 130 hit points complete of 5,000. But if you're rooting for Team 2, you don't want that thing going online. However, hard to hold on to that when your opponent has aerial supremacy. That's another horrible engage for Team 2. What is going on? They're going after the Soul Ripper. It still has half its HP. Guess thought maybe they could take some HP off. That's all they're trying to do at this point, is shoot the gunship down. Just looked ugly as... Oh, look, here come some strap bombers to assist the Soul Ripper. The Soul Ripper's got about 30,000 hit points left. A few strap bombers will reach the shield. Shield down to... Well, it's getting a look at that. Look at that tanking going on. Tons of engineers trying to desperately keep that shield gen afloat, but it does collapse. Can they get enough firepower down on the ground to take it out? Soul Ripper down. Is it going to land on the shield gen? Yes, it does, and there's still artillery raining down on this position as well. Those 2 new emissaries surely not going to last the night. There it goes. Oh, just going from bad to worse right now for Team 1, who are behind officially on eco now. 2.6k to 2.2k, and they are down about 50,000 mass, which is not a lot. Not a lot of mass out of almost 4.5 million, which is the sort of totals they're pulling in. Pepe's produced a shield gen and is about just over 1/10 of the way through construction on that Paragon. It's got a ways to go. However, it has not yet been spotted. I don't know. Okay, so they spotted a satellite at some point, and that's been pinged. Don't know if that's old. So it's not yet operational. That could be a problem, because that might lead them to investigate this area again before that Paragon goes online. That is their real best hope at this point, that Pepe can complete that. But it's a long shot. Ethotas and Megalith tangling in the center above that nasty graphical glitch that appears once in every 150 games or so. Maybe it's more than that. I hardly ever see it these days, but... Leader Thota down for Squealer. Should win against this trailing one, though. However, friendly Ion Storm going to cause him some problems. Needs to get out of range of that. Pepe. Ooh, boarding a transport. Oh, my goodness me, and nearly getting hit by a shell for his trouble. Just as he's flying away, he can see the rest of his base going up in flames. They have had a rough ride with all of this artillery fire. Team 2 winning that battle has been absolutely clutch. Oh, and there's another one. God, I'm doing well today. Narnerd Power goes down in the bottom left, or killed off, sorry. He must have killed one of them off. Who was it? It was Clinch down here somewhere. Another one that we will fill you guys in on at the end. I was going to say, I was like, what is Narnerd Power doing over there? That would have been very ill-advised. Somebody who definitely had to get up and go and turn his potatoes. I meant literally cooking. That's not a euphemism for something. Couple of Colossus east of the ridge belonging for Team 1, now being shooed away by a Megalith and a ton of Whalers. Or one Whaler, actually. Or a couple of Whalers and a ton of Renegades. Very poor show for that little trio of GCs who just couldn't get anything done. They don't have proper air support. This really has been the story of this match. Sheer amount of artillery advantage that Team 2 now have. Completely locking Team 1 out of the game. They've been trying to get their own artillery up and running. But as soon as they do, it gets spotted, it gets primaried, and it gets taken out. And if they can't breach the shields with their overwhelming amount of artillery alone, they send in a horde of strap bombers to soften the target up at the same time. Oh, they've spotted the Paragon all right. Shells now raining down on that position. Paragon 3.5k done. It's a lot more done than that. That's about to go online. But how on earth do they keep it alive with the sheer amount of artillery that Team 2 have? $4,950 hit points out of 5,000. They have got a lot of engineers under here. We've seen how well they can tank with that much build capacity. Working now on more shield gens. The Paragon is online. Needs to devote more engineers to more shield coverage. also should be able to spam that up quickly. He'll wish he'd have had some support commanders into the mix. That's for certain. Outlying mass extractors succumbing to that Novak satellite belonging to Hermors. Nothing Team 2 can do about that. Say, take out that Novak center. I'm sure that'll be next once they've dealt with this Paragon, which they need to do sharpish. They cannot allow Pepe to entrench this and fortify it properly. Massive tanking operation underway with more shield gens being produced. If he'd had a bunch of redundant support commanders, he could have been working on the second Paragon way down here, but it's now a race to get this out of commission before this spirals out of control for Team 2. They should be able to do it, but they've got a Scathis as well that's just gone online. The outrageous amounts of artillery. Look at all of the ordnance moving from right to left. There is no way they keep this Paragon alive. Ain't no way, ain't no how. Nope. No, sir, you're done. You are so done. Done with all of the death. That last shield somehow holding. I know there are other things happening elsewhere, but... oh! That's it. That is it, and that will surely be game. Shield buckled under the sheer weight of ordnance. One shell sneaks through, takes out all of the engineers and the shield gen. And that, as they say, was that. Oh, and is that a Control K? Nothing hit him. That was a Control K. Hermors doesn't like the way this game is going, leaving Pepe and M13 all by their lonesomes. Where's Pepe? Pepe's down here in the bottom left. Did he start a second Paragon? He was working on a salvation. He's working on multiple salvations. Make some good progress through on that front also. Did actually get one of them online. He is now majority stakeholder on Team 1 side of things. He's pulling in the lion's share at 1.8k. Can he funnel that into the right amount of offensive weaponry? I don't think an 1100 and a 1300, even with all these resources, can fight their way back into a game like this. It's 2.9k versus 2k. That is a huge disparity. And look at the killed mass disparity as well. Those mass totals not far off. 750,000 mass killed difference in favor of Team 2. Kill loss ratios. Team 2 at 0.98. Team 1 at 0.46. That is bad. Real bad. Salvation at the midpoint. The natural target. And you can see confluence of ordnance. Everything being brought to bear. So much artillery. So much artillery. And there it goes. Mass cleansing. There's no way. They don't have they don't have an advantage in any area. And I think that's probably why we just saw another Control K from Pepe. And M13, where's his comm? He's up over here. Quickly getting himself some upgrades with the huge quantities of mass he suddenly has at his fingertips for the time being. What's he doing with this? He's repping up. So starting T3. Here come experimental bombers. There it is. Softening up some of the forward approaches. Maybe creating an opening for some of these experimentals we see. Teleporter underway. Are we going to have a little bit of last minute comm droppage? Comm teleportation? He's repping himself up a bit first, if that's what he's going for. I imagine it is. Why else would you go for T3 Engineering Suite and then build Teleporter? Are we about to see the greatest comeback of all time? Answers in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, for goodness sake, smash the old like button. If only for how impressed you are at yourself for making it through 56 minutes of game time. Okay, where did he go? Where did he go? Is that him? That's not him. What colour is he? He's green. Let's get the thing up. There is a hot button. Everyone always tells me. There he is.
Under attack.
Going straight for T1 point defense. He's gone after this concentration of mass points here. How are Team 1 reacting? I mean, they could take him out right now. Look at all those Corsairs. They haven't noticed yet. He's going to have to be lightning on his feet. And I think he is moving already. You can see the teleportation graphic procking on that ACU. Where's he going to next? Keep your eyes peeled. It's going to the bottom right. Creating more T1 point defenses down there. Has he got the power to keep this up? Team 2 completely focused on trying to kill all of the infrastructure, as you might well imagine. It's the sensible way to do it. Actually, he has a few experimentals down here to call on if he wants to. Now the Corsairs have woken up. They're like, what's going on? Well, you could have got a comm kill right there, but you missed it. They are heading to the southeast. He is starting his teleportation. Better actually for the Corsairs just to stay in the middle and pop to wherever he goes to next. Send a couple of them down here to take out some of these PDs, but he's going to get away. There he does, just as they launch their rockets, and he's gone to the top right-hand corner this time. More T1 PDs, the order of business. Corsairs on their way up towards the top right-hand corner. T1 Bomber's going to get there first, though. Newly produced, fresh out of the air factories from Nerd Power. He's got 18,000 base hit points. And I don't know if he's going to make it out of here. I'm wondering where he's going to next. He's not going to have a lot of hit points to play with wherever it is. Looks like he'll be in his last quarter. Maybe last third. He gets away, but where to? There he is. Going for all the vulnerable mass points he can. Engineers over here starting on a bunch of T1s. Game of cat and mouse well and truly underway. Down to 8,000 hit points, but here come the Corsairs. And he's nowhere near teleporting out of this one. GG, he says in local chat. And then the Horde arrives. And the honor of the final kill goes to Sanaman and his air power. Well done, Team 2, who didn't have the most auspicious start, I think it's fair to say. Losing MSG down there at the bottom, and then Chicken over here to the Monkey Lord. It was not going brilliantly, but they stuck it out. They managed to get a couple of return kills. Took out the pros on Team 1, and thanks to strong air power, combination from Nerd Power early on, of course, and Sanaman a bit later. In fact, to be honest, they all dipped their toe in the air game, these last three players. Well, did he, though? I mean, I'm trying to think if I saw hordes. Oh, we actually had a Yolona Os on the way. I'm trying to think if I saw hordes of pink ASFs flying around. Pink elephants, if you were. I'm not sure. But yeah, so mainly Nerd Power. was the guy who wrestled air control, and then Sanoman as well with some of his experimental bombers in play. But those two guys grabbing air control on the map like this, it was crucial. And yet then, of course, the artillery match started, and there was only going to be one winner, and Team 2 won it convincingly and never allowed Team 1 to get the foothold back. Their last-ditch play at success was that Paragon. They did manage to get it up, but not enough defenses online. Didn't manage to hold on to it in secret for long enough. I'm wondering if they'd put it out somewhere over here, might they have managed to keep it secret for longer? Who knows? But let's take a look at the comm kills that we missed. So we rejoin the game here at about 20 seconds shy of the 40-minute mark. If memory has it, Yoji made his exit somewhere around the 41st minute. You could see he's under shield coverage in his base, surrounded by a lot of build capacity and a few shield gens, but it's not comprehensively shielded. And he has been under some pretty sustained artillery fire for the last minute or so. You could see some wrecked structures kicking around. There's a dead strategic missile defense. But for the moment, at least, it seems like the artillery from Team 2 has found another target. Seems to be drifting over towards Clinch's infrastructure further to the north. Now halfway through the 40th minute, so this might have just been a legitimate, you know what, we're done. And I don't think they were necessarily done at this point. So if this is just a unobstructed Control K, guys, I'm out of here. Who knows, it might have been a DC. But how different would the game have been? Oh, maybe not. No! My apologies. My apologies. You weren't a chicken. You just didn't have enough shielding. Wow! Admittedly, he was only under T2 shield gens there, but they just tore through him. That was one volley. One volley, and he was down and out. And then the next one, I believe, if I pause it for a moment, so it was Okpuk, and he was going telemaser. Was he already out at this point? Yes, he was. So I missed them in close succession. So he was out over here telemasering, and he was in the base here of Nerd Power. But there are strap bombers already buzzing around him. He's chasing down. Sorry, not Nerd Power. Sorry, Berries. He's chasing Berries. But there's too much air power. There's even T2 point defense down here. And he never really got close to him. Touch My Berries is on full health. And he had that personal shield as well. Kill went to the T1 bombers in the end of Sanoman, which we did see. So it was an attempt at a snipe there, but it was ill-advised. And Team 1 went from having it all to lose, with the exception of the artillery situation, which was firmly already spiraling in favour of Team 2. But other than that, they had it all to lose, to literally losing. They lost their 2 pros in the space of half a minute. Absolutely brutal. And then the last player that we missed was Clinch, who goes out at some point in the near future, and we'll skip forward to that. So we're at 47 minutes and 36 seconds. Clinch finds himself having rebuilt this area over here. We've not long lost this extra position over here. We were watching with the Soul Ripper and the Strap Bombers deal with a couple of emissaries there. A little bit of time has passed on beyond that. The constant ordnance have been drifting to 2 positions down here, but also he's been catching a few shells up here. And you can see it's depleted all of these shield gens, and he's now wide open, and his comm is also sitting slap bang in the middle of the volatile power plants. So all he needs to do is catch another couple of shells, and it could all be over very quickly indeed. One lands just to the northeast. That takes a bunch down, making him all the more vulnerable. Another shell lands. Engineers work on more shielding, Another one lands. His personal shield is gone. He's also lost a bit off his base health. He's down to 11,400 hit points. Just a handful of shields remaining. The extra emissary he was working on over there is gone. And he's under sustained pressure, and this is basically where he goes out. Makes a little move, still outside shield coverage. Another volley of shells land. Catches the edge of that explosion down to 1,600 hit points on the move further north. He's making a play for these shield gens up here, or it looks like he was initially. Then he gives up, stands still, and says, you know what? It's probably all over. Was working on another emissary up there. I wonder if he could have made it if he carried on. Maybe he will. Trying to have a look on paper how long I thought it was until he went, but he catches a shell pretty much square in the face at 48 minutes and 50 seconds, and that's what takes him out, and the rest unfolded as we saw it. So, hope you enjoyed it, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. Don't forget, if you'd like to support me, the best way you can do that, besides leaving a like and a comment down there, of course, and sharing the video with mates who are into RTS, the best way you can support me is to check out the Patreon. It's a mere $1 a month. There are 115 premium content casts with more being added all the time. Do come check us out, guys. You also get access to the Discord as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.